Incorrect.
We're all
No.
orphans here.
All right. Are they the mother and father figure, or is Rachel and Finley? Or is it Rachel and Finley?
No, I think it's
I would trust that
Sophie
parental
and
unit.
Thursday.
It's definitely not.
Sophie and
I think
Thursday.
these are like the two grandparent lines,
Mm-hmm.
and
Mm-hmm.
this is the generational trauma working itself out.
That's it. That's the game in the nutshell. It's true.
I mean, yeah.
Oh, God.
Don't call it synchronicity. Call it generational trauma.
That would be a great name to market. Absolutely not. We are still workshopping titles though, so I will take that under consideration, Raph.
Subtitle.
All right, I think with that, it is time to dive in tonight. And tonight's intro is going to be a little bit different because, well, a lot of channels have gone dark this week. If you did not see our announcements, we are not going dark. And that is because, well, we are aware of the general strike that is happening to protest what is happening currently in Palestine and the atrocities that are being committed there. As we are raising money for Doctors Without Borders, that feels like a much more beneficial way to be supporting Gaza and the people there. And so, what we are clearly stating tonight is normally we joke, normally we say, please don't subscribe. We do our bits about subs and bits. We are not doing that. We want any money that you would put our way to go directly to Doctors Without Borders. So either click the donate button, which is where the subscribe button would usually be, or at any point, especially if you're on mobile, as was just done, thank you, Della, you can type !donate, and the link will come up and you can donate that way. So again, do not subscribe, do not give us any of that fake currency. Donate directly to the people who are on the ground and helping. With that, my intro is also a lot shorter because I do not have to go into all of the other things that we usually do. And I think with that, we are, amazingly, in a position to do our introductions, and for one of our cast members, their introduction for the last time. Because this is the season 1 finale, and it is Raph's final session with us. Because as much as
just
they
fucking grip it and rip it, baby. Slop that
Thank
down,
you,
dude.
Della.
Yeah, dude. Crack one for the big boy.
And so, yes, as much as Raph has tried to be a chaos gremlin and stay up at all hours of the night, they cannot do that indefinitely. And so, we're going to start, as always, with you, Steph. Introduce yourself and the different characters and playbooks you may be playing tonight.
Yeah. Hi, I'm Steph. I got 3 playbooks now. Original flavor is Kai Caldwell, the Martyr playbook. Then we have Rebecca Dalton, Wet Rat, villain playbook. And introducing Ivy Finley. She's the hero playbook. She's gonna see an old coworker tonight, but she preferred to see her husband.
Why not both?
Why not both? Let's see what happens. Why not both?
Yeah, I mean, I've heard the couple that kills together stays together. But I'm sure there won't be any killing. I'm sure nobody would do anything like that. Q, you're up next.
Hello. Hi, I'm Q. I'm playing Weston. Weston Dominic Brooks. He's the villain. I'm playing Raven, the trickster, and I'm also playing Russell, the child. Fourth ghost as of yet, fourth or more ghost as of yet unseen.
As of yet, we'll see if that continues.
Mhm.
All right, Della.
Hi, I'm Della, and tonight I will be playing Rachel Blauhair, the original owner of this body. I'll also be playing Siobhan Thompson, who is not Siobhan Thompson. She is a cast member on Dimension 20. I did this last time too. Siobhan is a different last name. This Siobhan is different. Shit. Orion. Siobhan Orion. Shit. I'll get it eventually. Second season. All right. After that, I've also have Dr. James Finley, who is also looking forward to seeing an old co-worker and hopefully his wife. That would be really nice. It's been a very long time, a century, I think, in fact. And then there's the fourth member of our haunted house body, but we're not letting me out.
And with that horrifying intro, that brings us, last but not least, to Raph. The least haunted one of you all.
The least haunted one. You hear that, gang? Least one.
The quantity
Hold on,
versus
Raph.
quality thing, I feel like,
That's
honestly.
yeah. Quantity versus quality. I have both the least amount of ghosts and also am the least haunted. Which makes me who I'm currently playing Sophia Ann McAllister, the child playbook, aka the mom of the group, aka the mother figure of the group. And I'm also playing Dr. Andrew Thurston, middle
Don't
name
say it.
redacted.
Okay? And don't say it.
Who is
Don't.
aka the
Don't.
dad of the
I
group, aka
literally just said don't say
Papa,
it.
aka father
I know you hear me. I
figure
know my mic is
of the
live. I know you hear
group.
me. Don't do it. Stop lying to these people.
And I'm just so happy to see my children here today.
Gross.
Love them.
Hate this.
Mom and dad are here for you, and we love you very much.
You just gave us all tuberculosis.
What? It's highly contagious. I told you not to play together, so.
Incredible. I don't know how I'm coming back from that, honestly.
Oh, I should have said Thurston is the villain playbook.
Yeah, you don't want to forget that.
Important side note.
And normally, this is the part where I make the point of saying that I am playing everyone else. But I don't know how many others there are going to be to play, because we have quite a full house right now. So I'm just going to take you on this journey, and we're going to see where we go. And so before we jump in, the last thing I will just remind everyone, if this by some chance is your first time ever being on here for one of these streams of Redacted, Redacted is a psychological horror game, and as such comes with a number of content warnings. These include medical abuse and neglect, fire and burning and being burned, cult and cult activity, including but not limited to manipulation and gaslighting, ritualistic murder, drowning, body horror, gore, and child endangerment. If at any point you need to step away, please do. We know these are heavy topics. We would much rather you take care of yourself than force yourself to watch the stream. We have plenty of other content that does not include these types of subjects. But with that, we're going to start. And we're going to start seeing the town of Slatethorn from above. That lovely downtown area with all of the beautiful shops. The brand new hospital that is in the town proper. Even as we move through to the less residential and commercial areas, places like the Candlewick Inn, off in the distance on the other side, the wilderness stretched between, and we've seen this before. We saw this the first day, the day of your arrival. Just like that night, where we see another another image, and it's strange because the first one looked panoramic, almost like you would get from a drone shot up above. This this looks a lot different. This looks like it's from a security camera of some sort, and it captures the bits and pieces of that tunnel made of gray stone, the walls covered in drawings, the fairy lights providing the only illumination. And we see that one drawing, that one of the woman on the slide with her eyes X'd out. And then we get another angle, an angle at eye level. We see the pier, and we see Wick standing there, checking his phone before he steps onto the ferry and pilots it away. We see another image from above. Maybe a security camera, maybe one of those pinhole cameras that's not supposed to be where it is, because where it is, well, it's at the Historical Society at the museum. And for the first time, unlike what we saw before, we see the moment that Adrian takes hold of that bag of cremains. We see him fall to his knees. And this camera clearly does not capture audio because we can see that he is screaming, but we can't hear him. We see the medical examiner standing over a body. We see her bring the eye to her lips. We see a peaceful image, the image of the Church of Our Lady Star of the Sea, and that sign that says, "Save us from the wrath of the Lamb." We see the painting of Siobhan immortalized on the wall. And we see, from footage apparently taken in the hotel, the four of you standing in the hotel lobby, confronted with Dr. Andrew Thurston for the first time. And we see the footage distort and glitch as reality starts to break. We even see Dr. Thurston in Sophie's body walk through the hallways of the burned husk of the building as though he owns it. And what is the most disconcerting is we see the moment where the footage warps, the edges shifting and changing, and the images of what once was blurring and bleeding through. And we pull back from that to see that we're looking at a whole bank of screens, each one set to a different camera throughout the town. And we see a hand covered in a leather glove, reach forward and click on one of them. And we see the four of you. We see images that should not be possible for these cameras to be gathering because we see Russell sleeping, observed by Dr. Andrew Thurston, who's standing in the back in the shadows. We see Ivy coughing up blood in front of the mural of dead girls while Dr. Thurston watches her from one of the pews. And we see Dr. Finley in the hallway of the hospital, staring at the door that just opened. Dr. Thurston just standing right behind him, almost at his shoulder. Gone the moment Dr. Finley tries to look. And it's interesting because while Dr. Thurston seems to be everywhere, he's also standing in his old office by himself, but not by himself. This is not the brightly lit office that he had walked into before. This is one barely held together. The boards warped and burned. The desk, a pile of rubble. But you are here, and the experiments are proceeding. And I'm wondering, as Dr. Thurston makes notes on what he has observed from the other, I was going to say 3, but we are at a much higher number than 3. As he observes the others, what is going through his head? And what does Sophie think of all of this?
Thurston, I think, sits at the remains of his desk. It's a strange sight with the burned room behind his crisp white suit. And as he's writing notes about each experiment, I think he is trying to focus on how deeply he can go. And in the background, in Sophie or Thurston's mind eye, I think we see Sophie. And she watches with, it's a mix of amazement and a bit of horror. As she's kind of glancing over his shoulder and into his notes, she just says, I just don't understand. How are you doing this? And I mean, I I guess I kind of understand why you explained it before, but they'll be okay, right? This is all just a dream. And Thurston doesn't turn to her. He just continues writing, but he smiles and he says, "It is a dream. It is like a lucid dream, except for seems I have control. As far as how, it only seems right to share with you. The truth is, I don't know. I can only assume that this is God's gift. I've returned to continue my experiments. Why should He not grant me this ability? If this is my purpose, He has made it quite clear." Pain comes in many forms. You ask for their, uh, to see if they'll be all right. They will. Of course, they will. I do not harm my art. I'm just merely guiding them toward the end. Watching their journey. That's what makes each piece quite fascinating. Every person is so unique. Their paths are so different. It seems you've done your own experiments. Perhaps not quite at the as expansive as mine, but you're young. I'm sure your curiosity only grows. Uh, and Sophie, I think she takes a step back and watches Thurston work, watches his back, and tries to visualize and see what is happening within these dreams. She has hope. And it's true, she is curious.
What does Sophie think as she finds her body standing not far behind the sleeping Russell?
She watches as he sleeps. I think she can sense that something is wrong with him. But at the end of the day, this is a very fascinating situation. To be able to create experiments within a lucid dream. No one gets hurt, right? There are no consequences. When they wake up, it'll all be okay. I think that is what kind of keeps her hesitating.
Q, I am going to have you roll a d6. And you can decide what numbers go to which ghosts. But I'm curious to see when Russell wakes up, is it still Russell?
Interesting. Okay.
Wow.
Okay. 1 and 2. Russell. Seems good. 3 and 4. Raven. 5 and 6. Weston. That's a 6, baby.
Okay. Incredible.
Excellent.
And so, what does Weston see when he wakes up?
I think last we left Weston sleeping in a chair, and the room had fallen away, and there was only the door beyond. And I think as soon as he wakes up, there's a fraction of a moment where the room is still in nothingness. He is in nothingness. But as his eyes fully open, the room returns. And when the door opens, he sees Thurston walk through, and he has a notepad. And I think he walks in just looking at it. Uh, kind of hurriedly, and just says, "Mr. Dominic Weston, I heard you've come in. You have fatigue, chills. I can take you to the back now."
Um, so quick question. Couple of things, both for one for Raf and then a couple for JD because I did in fact make a roll at the
Yep.
end.
You did?
Uh-huh. Okay. Raf,
Hi.
is Thurston in punching distance?
I guess if you could not look right now. I'm imagining like you're sitting and the door is over here, but it's like you walking out from the hallway in a doctor's waiting room.
Okay. Cool, cool,
I
cool.
mean, you could reach
So
him.
I mean, he did offer to take me somewhere, so that's fair. Okay, perfect. Hi, JD.
Hi, Q.
I I did echoes of the past.
You did?
Mhm. And I did well.
You
Do I get
kicked
two
ass?
questions if I remember? Yeah, yeah,
Yep.
yeah. Uh, um, what is a memory? What is a memory of mine from a previous cycle?
I'm going to throw a question back at you, Q. And that
Oh,
is there a certain cycle you're looking in, or is there a certain type of memory you're hoping to find? What would Weston find the most helpful in this moment?
I'm looking for a through line. I'm looking for connection between all of us. Why it's us. Why our ghosts, our souls are connected.
Second question. Are we talking internally or externally?
The externally, I think I have. Um, we were all involved in one of these major events in big ways, I think. I want to know why the internal networks are happening. Why specifically?
It doesn't take long for it to become overwhelming because you're reaching through, you're looking back, and once the dominoes start to fall, they're falling in rapid succession to the point where you're getting bits and pieces. You're not getting full, complete memories. And it makes a lot of sense that Weston would be the one to look at this because Weston made that connection with Russell. You built that relationship. You saw a frightened child and you came to him with assurance that you would help. And you see moments that Russell experienced when he was at the TB ward. You see the horrors that were committed, the ones that you saw, the things that you overheard, the way Dr. Thurston would talk about his experiments and how beautiful this was. And you realized you had no choice but to realize he wasn't making people better, he was making them sicker. That was what he saw the beauty in. And you you went for help. You talked with you talked with Mrs. Finlay because she was always kind. You trusted her, and you know that that didn't stop the entire building from exploding into fire while you were still there. Other memories are less clear. There's this entire section that you can't seem to make sense of. You see You think it's yourself with a notepad in your hand, sitting in front of a typewriter, spending late hours poring over notes and documents, but not a whole lot stands out except for the fact that you do see the words Ash Wednesday Killer. And you see them because you wrote them. You're you're not a child anymore. You're not small. You are an adult who has the power to change things, who has the power to stop something terrible from happening. And you're starting to put those pieces together, but it's too late. You don't see how it ends, but you know it ends. And Weston knows it was not successful. Weston knows this because Weston has seen Rebecca, has seen Siobhan. There are things that were never reported, and whether that was because you were silenced or this information somehow never got to you, you didn't succeed. And you feel yourself starting to build up a wall bit by bit. And it's funny because next you're seeing those moments with Raven. Doesn't really matter that there's a wall when you're on that many drugs. You're
Mm,
just here to have a good time.
right.
And you see yourself whispering in the ears of different members of the cult of the sacred flame. You see yourself taking that control back bit by bit, finding ways to pull on those strings. And you also realize the moment you're in over your head and you need to get the fuck out of there. And then there's a piece where it's even stranger than that part where you get the fragments where you were looking at your notes and sitting at the typewriter. There's something that comes between Raven and Weston. But it's like you're looking into a void. It's just absence. It's almost like someone took whatever that was out of your memories. Which makes you wonder, as you make it closer to present day than you might want when you look down at your hands in the memory and see blood. Makes you wonder what happened between Raven and Weston, where you were willing to get your hands dirty for the first time.
Mm. I think for a moment, Weston looks at his hands, uh, takes a moment, blinks. Right, Doc, lead the way.
And I think as soon as you say lead the way, you're already in a medical room. You're sitting on the little raised bed with that very loud crinkle sheet of paper. Um, and Thurston's on this wheelie chair, like one of those wheeling stools. And he has your file in front of him. And he says, fever, chills, fatigue. It seems to be bothering you.
Hey, I want to look for something sharp and or heavy to the other side of me.
So I'm gonna ask you first, Raph, what do you think Weston sees?
He's in a very standard looking modern day doctor's office. So I think there's like jars of, cotton balls and Q-tips and like all sorts of random tools. I think there's probably some sort of machinery as well. Um,
Weston, what object are you hoping to find? Like if you are envisioning the perfect thing to use against Dr. Thurston right now, what is it?
Oh, scalpel. Easy.
It's already in your hand.
Fantastic. Okay, well, I would like to return it to him via the throat.
I would love for you to roll with physicality.
It's a 10.
Absolutely incredible.
Wreck that suit!
The thing bothering me, Doc, is you. I'm just gonna.
How does Dr. Thurston respond to having a knife go into his throat?
I think you see the shock go into his face. Uh, there's obvious blood. Um, it stains the top of his suit and his shirt and his white tie. And I think he's staring at you with this look of horror. And then you're sitting back, and he's sitting there with this blood-stained suit and the scalpel in your hand. And through this like gurgling voice, he says, "Unfortunately, there are no other doctors on staff today. And your symptoms seem normal. You should be proud. You seem to be getting along very, very well. Even your skin, kind of pale. Cheekbones. Hmm.
So, question for you. No matter how many times I run you through, you're just gonna keep coming back?
I don't understand.
I'm gonna stab him again. Do it again?
I think again, that like look of horror and shock, blood. I'm not gonna get too graphic, but uh and then in a second, you're back on the table. And I think he sets your file down, and there's a shift in his eye. And he says, "It's not going to be that easy, Mr. Weston."
Oh, I didn't expect it to be. However, I will say doing it twice was satisfying.
Hmm.
So let me make this very clear to you, Doc. Um, I'm not going to be participating in your experiment. Certainly not willingly.
You've been participating.
Not willingly, as I said.
Perhaps not.
Right. So I already don't like you. So don't give me more reason to dislike you.
Weston, I truly expected more of you. This
Oh,
is,
oh, did you? Or was I supposed to be
and
on board with you playing puppeteer on my life? Yeah, I don't fucking think so.
no, it's not that. You're welcome to be angry. It would be strange if you were not. But we're sitting here in this room. Tell me something about yourself.
Want to know something? Want to hear something about me? I really fucking hate small talk. And he's gonna sit back, arms crossed.
Wait, can everyone else see Q?
Oh no.
Oh no. Yes, we can.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
I can see you now.
Okay.
Okay.
You
You both?
literally cut out as soon as I asked the question, and then everyone else was nodding along, and I was like,
Oh, what
I'm in
happened?
Yeah.
between.
Weston was just like
Okay.
out of the office,
Okay.
gone.
Stream
Dude,
got way too haunted for a
got
moment.
haunted real
That
quick.
being
Seriously.
the no.
For real.
Okay. So that you can hear me. I
Hmm.
said I really hate, like I fucking hate small talk. Just gonna sit back.
And Weston, I am going to say one thing. So, you, it seems, caused pretty severe physical harm to Dr. Thurston.
Mhm.
You're pretty sure, much like he said, that you could keep stabbing him and this wouldn't necessarily stop, or at the least, you wouldn't necessarily kill him. You do know, you can feel it on some level. It wasn't that it was ineffective, because when that knife went in, you felt something start to crack.
Mm.
And it still held together. Again, you don't think if you stabbed him 1,000 times, it would necessarily break it apart. But there are consequences to what you are doing.
Okay. Negative consequences or good consequences?
You are pretty sure that with enough of those cracks, things would shatter apart. What that would mean is the piece that is unclear. It
Mm.
might be what is needed to reunite a wife and husband and get the three of you out of this. It might
Right.
have unintended ripple effects, but I don't know how much you care about that if the outcome is Dr. Andrew Thurston no longer being in control.
Mhm. So, you were saying you were disappointed.
Yes, I'm. I've read your file. You're quite an interesting man and child. I was curious to see how you would react.
Oh, did you think I was going to perhaps buddy up with you? Try and get on your good side?
It was an option,
Mm.
but
No, never.
I'm here to guide you on your journey. I'm not here to give you the answers. You've
Okay.
been given a gift. You're starting to look so beautiful. I just want to see where you can take this potential.
Okay. If you enjoy death, you enjoy decay, or whatever the fuck this is, go look at a mushroom. You hurt so many people, made them sicker rather than better. That's why they had to stop you.
I admit I did make people. I think sicker is a harsh word,
Harsh.
but
The
I
truth is harsh sometimes.
did make them better.
Mm.
Being better does not always correlate to one's lifespan. If that were true, then why would heaven exist?
And
Why
here
not live
heaven's the
out
end
your
game.
days the most beautiful and poetic way? I saved them.
Beautiful and poetic.
Yeah.
Withering away. Sick. Holed up. Isolated from the rest of the world.
And
That's beautiful.
envy to the rest of the world.
Envy. No one envies tuberculosis.
I think you are quite mistaken in that fact.
Do you want it? I'll cough on you right now. Does that make you feel better?
It's funny. All those years I spent around those who had it, and all I wanted was to live the same way. I thought it was a curse. I did everything I could to live out a poet's death. They said some people were immune. I thought that was a sign that I had been forsaken. But clearly there was another path for me. I was merely a shepherd. I was never, path for me was never to be a lamb. And I'm giving another opportunity right now. Let me shepherd you, Weston.
Okay, so a couple of things. One, the disease envy, wild choice. Two, I was never really one for the church. So, um, sounding a little like church, sounding like cult. Got a guy in my head who apparently was a part of one. Not doing that again. Three, and I'm gonna stab him in the neck again.
In fucking credible. I'm gonna let you have that, and you do that, and once again you feel that sense of things starting to crack around you.
And I'm sort of latching on to that. I'm trying to keep it in. I'm probably not going to do it again for a little while.
And through one of those cracks, and it's a small one, we see the hallway of a hospital and Dr. Finley standing there, a door having just opened ahead of him.
Dr. Finley is standing there, and the air around him is still kind of has that heat shimmer as Rachel kind of talked him off the edge. He takes a deep breath. And steps through.
What greets him on the other side?
There's a simple room. There's not much there, to be honest. Singular lamp hangs above the only table at the center of the room. There's 2 chairs. And you see a deck of cards and some poker chips. And Dr. Thurston sits down. Says, Finley, I was wondering when you'd arrive. You deserve a break.
I think we both do, don't we? He reach behind him and pull out of the air a bottle of schnapps that he slams down on the table. I wasn't sure that
Glasses.
would work.
This is a peculiar world.
I am noticing that. However, did you gain access? Because I know you didn't make it.
I was gifted it.
Hmm. Uh, Finley will pick up the deck of cards and start shuffling. Gifted it. Sounds wonderful. Whatever did you do to attract such a patron?
It seems I did well in my former life. Not even a fire could stop me.
They say
May I?
God's favor, burnt offerings. Of course.
Kind of pours out 2 glasses and hands you one.
It's interesting, Dr. Thurston, when you
Mm.
do that. There's a third glass, and you realize there's a third chair also at the table.
Seems we are missing someone. When will your friend arrive?
Hmm. Which of my friends? You know, I have so many.
Is there a specific person, JD?
There isn't.
Mm.
You look at that chair and you know it's meant to be filled by someone, but you don't remember their name. And that's not right because you remember, well, you're not always good at remembering the exact names, but you know who you were in come in contact with.
Can I go on ahead and do me a little roll and see if I can figure this one out?
Of course you can.
Beautiful.
Love a
Uh,
little roll.
just a little roll.
Just a little roll.
Just a little roll. I'm feeling. I'm feeling shadowy here.
Are we feeling shadowy?
I'm feeling shadowy. I'm feeling like I closed out of the Synchronicity book, which was dumb. Where'd it go? There it is. There it is. Hold on. What are my moves? Yeah, I feel like this might be. No, this isn't Echoes of the Past because This is my cycle.
I'm still, I think, gonna have you roll with shadow.
You think I'm a roll
Mm.
shadow here?
Yep.
All right. That's a 13.
Hell
And
yeah.
fucking credible.
On the 13th
Yes.
episode.
That was a 5 and a 6, baby.
And so you're sifting through your memories, and you're right, this is your cycle. This is something to be readily accessible, and that is why, for you as well, Dr. Finley, it is so disconcerting because you're looking in that chair, and it's almost like you wouldn't understand this reference, but it's almost Matrix like. It's like code that is forming a person who should be there but isn't. Like something has been deleted to stop you from being able to get a clear look at their face. But you keep looking and you keep peering. And you remember it wasn't just at the table playing cards, it was walking down the hall. This was someone who was with you all the time. You remember moments of talking, and you remember well, I'll ask you to tell me how you feel, but I'm curious what sensations go through Dr. Finley when he remembers this person? Casually saying, I mean, we could always just burn the place down.
In the moment when it happened, I know I thought no one would do such a thing. What a horrible thing to do. That was before I saw his office, before I saw his samples, his collection, before I realized that the whatever plan he had, it would not stop here. I remember the day I set the fire. I remember worrying, even as it killed me. I worried it wouldn't be enough. It's a shame I thought I would take to my grave, if I ever got one, that it apparently wasn't. But I don't remember this person's name. Was it my wife? It couldn't be my wife. I could never forget my wife.
It's in that moment, like an echo coming from somewhere. You hear a name, and you can't match it to a face, but there's something that feels equally comforting and terrifying as you remember the name Gwydion.
Gwydion. You're a real motherfucker, JD. Out of character. Interesting. So how's it going? The experiment. I assume you're taking data on everything. You're writing down. You've got my vitals. Good God, man.
It's going quite well, I should say. This is deeper than I've gone before, so every second is a new discovery. And I think he brings up his glass and kind of like cheers you.
It sort of cheers his. Oh, this is. You never got out much, did you? Did you ever, I don't know, like consider just just not judging, but like a woman, or I don't know, a man. I don't know how you prefer things, but perhaps a different form of going deeper might have made this a lot less whatever the fuck this is. We would have needed less of your patron to take us all through this trip.
I suppose it's cliche, but I was married to my work.
I was about to be so surprised
I
that we
try to
were
keep you on your
married.
toes.
Oh,
And Thurston drinks the schnapps. And I think as he's drinking it, Dr. Finley, you would see a sudden stain of red come across his chest and across his clothes and over his suit. And he kind of puts the glass down. Says, "So, what game will we be playing tonight?"
you know, I was never particularly good at cards. Not, I don't have much of a poker face. Let's just admit what we are doing here.
And what is that?
We are a pair of old men. We're a pair of old men. Long past, whose time is long past, desperately trying to reach out and restore some of our former glory. That's what we are. We are old, sad men. You at least have a young and interesting body. Now, though you don't seem to be wearing it.
I don't know why you have this fascination with the end. We have been granted more. We didn't ask for it, and yet here we are.
It's true. Huh. So you're here to make a hell then, yes?
Sometimes you have to go through hell to understand that you have been in heaven this whole time.
That doesn't actually make sense.
Hmm.
That's
Perhaps it's
actually
perspective.
no, no. How about this? Let's play a hand of poker. Told you I'm not very good. Perhaps you will win. If I win, you'll take me to my wife. If you win, I don't know. What is it that you want? What do you want from
What do I want?
Maybe I'll even just give it to you.
Everyone else is going on their own journey. You, I have interest in some of your guests. And I've been wondering, asking myself, I know why I've been granted this. I see now. Second opportunity to be able to run more experiments, to make more art, new mediums. But I asked, why you? Why have you returned? I think if I win, take your position in the hospital again. And we weren't arguing. We were friends, partners at the most.
Interesting proposition.
Perhaps your return is to help me. I doubt it's to make it more infuriating for me.
Well, that I will do is for free, Dr. Thurston. That I will do for free. I do not need to be resurrected for that. I am aware that merely the memory of me. Will you agree to take me to my wife if I win? Swear on your
I agree to.
patron.
I agree. I will show you the way.
And fine. If I win, I will join you.
If I win, I think you will not be disappointed. You cannot imagine the discoveries.
I think there's a moment in the interior of Dr. Finley where Siobhan is just there like, I'm sorry. I'm sorry. You're gonna do what now? Because that does not sound like anything we would agree to. And Rachel's just like, I want to know what happens. And he sort of shrugs, just says, ladies, as far as I can tell, we're the ones sitting on an unexploded ordnance. He wants to let me into his chamber of secrets. Then we can find out what will happen. He sort of sits back forward and says, so let's play. I'll deal.
I think that is the moment that, as you are dealing out the cards, Dr. Thurston begins to cough up blood all over the table in front of you.
Is that supposed to be happening?
Calmly wipes it away.
Have more schnapps, the wormwood will help.
It will at least keep me warm. And yeah, drinks.
And I'm going to ask each of you, what are you rolling in this card game? How do you want to approach it?
Do you want us to roll with like a skill?
I do.
Oh my god.
I think I think I'm rolling with Shadow again, because I think that, again, there have been times in his life where Finley would have been like, no, the honorable thing to do is to just play the game. You just play the game. You just play the cards that are in front of you. There are times in his life where he would have been like, I'm going to analyze every piece of this game. He's going to try to do the card sharp thing. He's wretched at it. I think he's like, this is too important right now for me to leave to chance. And he is using every scrap of personal power he has to push this game in the direction he wants it to go.
I think that tracks.
I think Thurston is using awareness. Mostly because the card game doesn't matter. He just wants to see where this goes. And so I think he's just watching very, very carefully.
I would like each of you to roll.
I hate this. It's a pretty good roll. It's a pretty good roll.
Not shabby roll here either.
All right, what do we have?
I rolled a 9. Wait, yes, 9.
I rolled an 11.
Ooh.
I got a 9 on the dice and I got a +2.
Absolutely fucking incredible. And I think it tracks from the way each of you approach this, because for you, Dr. Finley, the outcome of this was the most important. You could not lose. You needed to know what cards would be in your hand and influence the ones that would be in Dr. Thurston's. But he didn't care about that. He wanted to see what you would do. And in that, you're both getting what you want. You're not getting locked into a deal that you do not want to be locked into, Dr. Finley, and you're getting to see your wife. And you, Dr. Thurston, oh, you're realizing that Dr. Finley, Dr. Finley had power you didn't know he had. He is exerting his will on this world in a way that does say he is meant to be here.
This is a
And
lucid
you're
dream only I'm supposed to control.
and yeah, I'm curious how you feel about that, because you're also realizing he may have had some of this innate power back then too.
I think Thurston has a very kind of tight-lipped smile on his face, desperately trying to hide the confusion and frustration. Not that he lost, but that he didn't expect this specific outcome. Hmm. Congratulations.
Thank you. I will be honest, I am surprised. You've always been a much better player than I have been. But I will say I am very glad I did not want to, torture people.
We're having fun here. It's not really torture.
I Is someone stabbing you right now?
Feels
Or
like a
is
I was
that is that just because those look to me? Are there JD, are there wounds, or is it just like suddenly blood from no apparent source?
Well, it's interesting you say that because it's been suddenly blood, but almost in that moment you ask the question, you see a wound start to open up, and a countdown starts for each one of you. Countdown of 9 seconds. We're going to see what happens when we come back from break.
Oh,
Hey, what? What do you mean
rude.
9 seconds?
Don't worry about it. Find out in 10 minutes when we're back.
I'm about to.
My cast hasn't killed me yet, so that's good. Only good things are happening tonight, and I just need everyone to know that as we go into the second part of the episode.
Yeah, the 9 seconds are building up to a party.
yeah.
I mean, it's gonna be something, a surprise. It's gonna be a surprise.
It's
Mm.
October. We're counting down to the new year.
Huh?
I don't even know what to do with that
Oh
statement.
yeah,
Raph.
it was me. I'm sorry.
We know it's November.
When did
It
we get here on was it No, it wasn't Halloween.
It was October
it?
31st.
It was. It was November.
No, it was
Oh,
October 21st. It's October.
Yep.
Still
it's
I
October.
was
October.
like, I'm pretty sure it was
It's true.
21st. I can't remember my
Yeah, it
own
was the
lore.
21st.
It's fine.
It is the 21st. Same day I got married.
Oh.
Let's
Aw.
go. It's an omen. That's how I remembered it.
And so, to set the stage, Weston and Dr. Thurston had an encounter that resulted in bloodshed. Dr. Finlay and Dr. Thurston made wagers against one another. And we leave those two frozen tableaus to go to the third of our mix. The one we left standing in front of the mural of dead girls, coughing up blood.
Yep. Ivy. I think she coughed so hard she got dropped to her knees, so she's definitely climbed to her feet by now. It's just kind of wiping her hands, just because out of habit of like wiping them off on her apron that she used to wear, and it's just doing this again. Not going to follow this path because that's what Andrew wants, and I don't want him to get what he wants. So, is the holy water basins attached to the wall by the door when you walk in, or are they like standing basins?
It's a standing basin, a standing stone basin.
Okay. And I'm assuming there's stained glass windows around the church and the big one at the altar.
Did you make
Okay,
any changes to those, Dr. Thurston? Just out of curiosity. Okay.
cool. I'm gonna pick up one and I'm gonna swing it at the nearest window. I'm not going
I
through the door. He wants me to use the door. I'm not using the door. Fuck that.
I love that for you. Roll with physicality.
Double fives plus two, that's a 12.
Let's go. So many
Heresy.
good rolls today.
We
Yeah,
are
much
kicking
better than my
ass at rolls.
last one.
Yeah.
So yeah, I'm gonna smash through that window and then hopefully climb through it.
I'm curious, Dr.
Mhm.
Thurston. Before the basin makes contact with the window, is there anything you say to Mrs. Finley?
I think I don't think I don't think maybe before. Well, maybe before. Yeah, let's go with before. Um, Behind Mrs. Finley, she hears a voice and it just says, I don't think you're supposed to do that.
She keeps swinging. She doesn't listen. She breaks that window and then turns. It's just like,
What does she see?
She sees Sophie. She sees a young 23-year-old child. That's what she is.
yeah.
Um, Standing in the middle of church, looking a little concerned about a broken window.
Oh, you're the present day. You're not Thurston.
No.
You're Sophie?
Yeah, wow. I can't believe you remember my name.
I'm
You're Ivy.
Ivy. Well, we're not actually in the church, Sophie, so it doesn't matter if I break the window.
I suppose, but we're in the church.
We're in Thurston's approximation of the church.
I think we're in your approximation of the church.
That mural wasn't there when I went to church.
Maybe not you.
I'm still acclimating to this situation and the other souls that seem to be residing here. Are you not concerned by any of this?
I'm concerned about the broken window.
Okay. Are you not concerned about Andrew Thurston?
I'm confused. He's a doctor.
Mm-hmm.
He's running experiments. He didn't really explain it very well, but some sort of dream-like, dream-based research project, maybe?
To what end?
I don't know. I was hoping to find that out.
Did he tell you what he did? at the ward. How he made those patients sick. How he made me sick.
You do look frail. Do you want to sit down?
I prefer to stand.
Ivy, you are closest to the window. You were distracted when you heard the voice. You didn't clearly see out, but you're realizing that what's beyond that shattered glass is darkness. And it's almost pulsating. Please continue.
That is not something the sky should be doing. More like something living. That's a whole new upsetting thing to process.
Can I ask you, how are you finding it?
You're going to have to be more specific, my dear. There is a lot happening.
Sure. Being here again, alive in a way.
Am I alive?
You're
I mean, you
living.
are alive.
I'm
Kai is alive. I was no longer alive. Feel a bit better if I could see my husband.
oh, I saw him just not too long ago.
Did you? Where?
James, right?
Yes.
Yeah, he was right down the hall. Hmm.
Are you bothered at all by what happened to the patients in the ward?
Am I bothered about
Thurston making them sicker to admire their deaths?
it's not a comforting thought?
Oh. What kind of thought is it to you, though?
I think she looks nervous and says, I don't think it's necessarily good, but I understand in a way what it feels like to get lost in your vision.
Sophie, your phone rings.
Excuse me. Um, she looks at it.
It's Eric.
I think she turns and looks at Miss Finley and glances at the church. And then finally at the mural painting of Shaban and the mural of the girls. I think she answers it. Mistake.
What is Sophie the most afraid of hearing?
think she's most afraid that he's in a place that cannot be forgiven.
And so you answer the phone. And unlike previous times, you're not hearing him coughing, gasping for air. He just says, I was wondering if you'd finally pick up, actually talk to me.
It's funny, we actually don't really have good service where I'm at right now. So, but yeah, that's just an excuse, honestly.
What the fuck was all of that, Sophie?
I was just I was just trying to do my research.
Yeah, that you didn't have approval for. Know that I got charges on me for stalking?
That that wasn't supposed to happen. It would have been fine. I didn't expect him to react that way. And I didn't expect you to get hurt.
You didn't expect me to get stabbed?
No. I honestly I chose the group because I didn't think it would get that far. I didn't think any of them would be able to do it. I didn't think
So you thought there was a possibility there could be violence. You just thought you were in
no,
control of
no.
whether that violence happened.
No, I don't know. I thought that this was more I thought they would have more of an emotional reaction. We could talk about it in group. We could talk about it and analyze and run tests. I didn't think they would take matters into their own hands.
You didn't think, Sophie. You told me this was on the level.
I mean, it wasn't.
I know. I'm aware because they protected you. They didn't protect me.
I don't know if I consider myself protected.
Oh, why? Because they expelled you? You think
That
that
was
has anything in comparison to having a fucking record now? To being in the hospital after getting stabbed?
I can help you. I can talk to the core. I can help. I can
How?
help in any way I can.
How, Sophie?
I have the documents. They're forged, I guess, but they're there. I can use that as proof that it wasn't you, that you had no idea. You didn't know. I mean, I didn't know either, but you didn't know. Just I want you to know that I wanted to help sooner. I just got
Busy?
I thought if I could just make this right. I thought if I could just get back and explain to them, if they could just understand, then it would be okay. You'd be okay.
You thought that if you could just go back and explain to the school why you forged documents, why you lied to all of us, that it would change the fact that I'd almost been killed? That it would change the fact that I had no way to protect myself or defend myself from the fact that, yeah, I was fucking stalking people? Sophie, do you have any idea how many lives you ruined? How many people you hurt?
Seems to be a pattern. You wouldn't understand that. But I I don't know how many. I wasn't really able to see the repercussions. I That's not true. I didn't want to know. I avoided the information. I ran to an island. Now I'm talking to you through a dream.
I hope for your sake. No, no, not for your sake. I don't really care about you, Sophie, but I hope for whoever the people are around you now that you make better fucking choices the next time.
I'm sorry. I'll try.
I don't think you're a bad kid, Sophie, but I think you damn well need to do better. And he hangs up.
I think Sophie stands there kind of quietly. I think it's clear you're looking at her from behind, but I think it's clear that she's crying. You see her shoulders kind of shake, and you can hear like very soft gasps. But she quickly wipes the tears from her eyes and turns around to you, Mrs. Finley, and
Okay.
says, You wanted, you were looking for your husband, right?
Correct.
I can bring him here.
I would appreciate that. I don't know what. Maybe ghost is not the right term given our situation. I don't know what weight you carry with you from things you've done or didn't do, but I know Andrew carved a wound into this place that is never quite healed. And you don't have to walk the same path he made. Like, whatever damage you've done, you can still leave that path. He says he does all this research, but research without compassion just begets brutality. You can be better than him. Take a different path, Sophie.
I think I'm starting to see that.
He never apologized for anything. So I think you're already a step ahead of him.
He can be a little stubborn.
You'd be a lot stubborn.
Let me go get him. Your husband.
Why don't we just walk there together if you know the way?
I don't.
Oh,
It just kind of happens.
okay then.
But I'll be back. I promise. I will bring him. And you should really sit down. I'm truly not trying to be rude, but you look like you have a fever and you're sweating pretty badly. There's some water here.
I will consider that, thank you. It's nothing I haven't felt before.
I'll be back.
In that moment, it's strange because it happened so fast, but that pulsating darkness, that void beyond the stained glass, breaks through. And for you, Mrs. Finley, there is a moment where this is so reminiscent of that experience that Kai had when the car came through the stained glass and the water followed. But there is no car, and it's not water, it's blood. And it is filling the church rapidly. But that is the moment that 9-second countdown begins.
Mm.
I'm going to start with you, Weston, as you have the scalpel dug into our lovely Dr. Thurston, and you're counting down that time, and you realize you have an opening. What do you do?
Russell, wake up. We need to get out of here. Can I feel the tear? Can I feel the crack?
You can. I mean, this is the third time you've stabbed him. I think it is
Hmm.
fair to say you have an awareness of how reality is cracking around you.
Great. This isn't real. This isn't reality. So, at the very least, I'm going to make sure that it's real hard for him to hold on to whatever reality he's crafting. So, I'm going to, using Ruffle, try and break through, try and split that crack wide open.
I'm thinking a roll with Shadow. Are we on the same page?
Let's check Shadow for the boy. Oh, I moved it. Hello.
You all have so many character sheets, it's fine.
You right. Oh, young boy. Oh, sweet child of mine.
He's still sleeping.
All right. He's a sleepy boy.
He's so
Yeah. So
sleepy.
that's going to be an 8.
And so I'm going to ask a question. In that moment that Weston, with Russell's help, reaches out, what do you hope that reality will be like? Is the focus simply wresting control away from Dr. Thurston? Is it being in a place that feels safer to Russell? Or is it punishing Dr. Thurston in some way?
I think what Weston is trying to do, because he's already stabbed him. I want to do it in person to actually punish him. But more specifically, I told him I didn't want to participate. So I'm trying to sort of put up a wall between me and the rest of the game. I am stepping out of the matrix. We're unplugging.
Weston, you have a knife in Dr. Thurston's throat, and with your other hand, you are reaching out. You are feeling that crack and you are pushing through. And it is jarring when you stumble out into the tunnel. Dr. Thurston is not there, nor are the others. But you are out of the experiment.
Good. Kai, Rachel, you two better get out of there. I'm not going back in to get you.
Dr. Thurston, you feel that loss. But you're face to face with Dr. Finlay, who you just promised to bring to his wife. What do you do?
Keep my promises.
Take me to her.
You can just follow me. And I think immediately when he says that, you're in a very, 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 very dark, cramped, kind of damp. It looks like a hallway, kind of, and there's a door. And he opens the door, and it leads into the church through that tunnel that we had found. To this just sea of slowly filling blood. I think there's like blood at our feet. And I think Thurston kind of looks at the blood and looks at the opening of the shattered window and just looks confused.
Can I see Ivy from where I'm standing?
You can.
I'm going to run over to her through the blood.
Yeah, I'm already like,
Yeah,
I'll do it.
through the blood, full embrace, dip, kiss, big romantic music swells
In the blood
while
church.
in the blood church. And he says his hand sort of gripping the back of her hair, cradling the back of her head, and he says, "I'm never letting you out of my sight again."
Likewise.
And at this moment, I'm going to look at that gap, the blood pouring through, glance back at the gash in Thurston's throat. I'm choosing fight or flight. I'm choosing Wrath of the Dragon. I'm ripping this thing down.
Please do.
I'm tearing this thing apart.
Incredible.
This gives me an automatic 10 plus
Yes, it does.
to my fight or flight roll.
Yep.
And I think the way this is gonna work is yeah, I'm absolutely going. I think the way this ends up working is sort of looking up, turning back, and there's a brief flicker of Rachel across his face. And he unzips that fanny pack, pulls out a gun, and shoots him.
Let's go. Let's go.
I did not see that coming. Fucking incredible.
Jesus.
I thought about doing something big and dramatic, but you know what? I got a
Sometimes you
fanny
just gotta
pack
shoot him.
and I got a gun, and I'm
You got
gonna
a gun fanny pack,
I got a gun
dude.
in my fanny pack.
Where do you choose to shoot him?
I think there's some disagreement about that inside them. I think Siobhan is like, aim for his heart. And Finley, being big and dramatic, is like, aim for the wound in his throat. Um, but I think that Rachel is just like, nah, two between the eyes.
Double tap.
This is perhaps one of the most unusual questions I've had to ask, but we are in some form of a dreamscape. Is it a normal bullet?
I think in the dreamscape, it's not that the bullet doesn't seem to change, but the gun does. For a moment, wrapped around their arm, pointed out, you see the mouth and the coiling body wrapped around their arm of a crimson dragon, its wings expanding behind their body, and the blood pouring in, that's continuing to pour in, uh, uh, seems to get thinner almost, and takes on a smell of gasoline.
Dr. Thurston, what are your final thoughts?
I think as he's watching this reunion, trying to think of what is going to come next and the hole and the pulsing darkness. The room is filling up with more blood. And I think at the last moment, when Rachel pulls out the gun and shoots at him, there's this feeling again that someone is still missing. I think as they're kind of hugging and he's looking around the room that is wrong and the feeling that is wrong, I think he just tries to remember. And then I think his final thoughts are, how unfortunate. I suppose there's always next time.
And in that moment, Dr. Thurston, you feel a fear that doesn't feel right because there's a sudden moment of what if there isn't a next time? And you don't know why that would be. That absence keeps nagging at you. That sense of wrongness, the idea that, well, it's funny, it's actually what Dr. Finley kept saying, what you kept talking about. That idea of you having a patron,
What?
that sense of being watched. And I think your final thought is, what if I've been a part of this experiment the whole time? And then for Dr. Thurston, there is nothing more. But Sophie is still standing there in the room with the two of you, which is now steadily being engulfed in flame.
Sophie, let's go.
No, Della, you're muted.
I did not think that that was going to happen. That was actually pretty cool. I think we are all going to die now, though, so we should.
Let's not repeat that again.
How do we get out of here? Child, do you know?
Um, I
I
don't,
broke the window. We could try that.
I don't, we came from the tunnel. I don't know. I'm kind of lost. This wasn't supposed to happen.
Of course not. Of course not. It's never supposed to happen. You're not supposed to be, murdered by your research subjects. That is unfortunate. It's not a great day for anybody in their life as a researcher. We've got to go though.
Let's process those feelings on the way out the door. Okay?
Tunnels. Yes. I'm sorry. Do you need help, my dear?
Oh, thank you. Hopefully the fever will be going away since Thurston is. Yeah. No, I'll be fine. I'll be fine. You know, I'm hardy. Body's a bit different, but I'm fine. Have you
Am I
considered?
seeing anything? Sorry. No, you go ahead. You finish. You're doing your thing.
As we're like heading out, she's like reaching for Sophie. She's like, "Have you considered a dragon tattoo on your arm? That imagery was stunning on you."
I did not think about tattoos at all, in fact. But now,
Those are something that are very easy to do these days. Apparently, I'm getting the sense.
Interesting. This world is so fascinating.
Isn't it? They can hold their phones in their pockets.
They have phones.
Yeah.
And to you, Q, are you
Yeah.
seeing anything? The
hmm
answer is yes. You've probably now been in the tunnel for maybe 10 seconds, maybe 15. It hasn't been that long, though it's felt a bit like an eternity. And it isn't so much what you see initially, it's
hmm
that the wall starts to feel hot. And you start to see cracks spreading almost like coal burning. Just these glowing embers.
Backing up away from that.
And you hear voices. And I think I would like everyone to roll with Shadow.
Oh boy.
I'm not Kai right now. That's not.
Okay.
6. Oh no. Hey!
Hey, oh boy.
Woo!
Can I lend two of my can I lend some of my I guess it would really only help one of you.
Yeah, the wife. So.
Well, you know, Finley's not exactly a paragon of ethics his own self.
I think the roles make perfect sense
Yeah.
in light of how things unfold because Finley, you are immediately feeling for those cracks. And maybe it's because they're filled with fire. It feels so natural to lean into that. And you can feel just on the other side, not only is there fresh air, there is going to be a break from this reality that Thurston had you trapped in. That reality is burning. It is almost gone. And Weston, your connection with Russell is allowing for the same thing. You're feeling those cracks again and you're helping. And you, Finley, you're protecting Ivy. You're making sure that she makes it through this as those cracks widen and widen. And Weston, you are able to help pull Dr. Finley and Ivy through, but not Sophie.
Can I try to make one last grab for Sophie?
Yeah, there's no universe where Rachel lets that happen.
Look, Ivy hasn't spent much time with Sophie, and this is the hero playbook. She's trying to help this child.
Do you,
Yeah.
would you say either of you have any moves, and they do not have to be just the moves of the person who is currently in control?
Oh,
Are there any moves that your playbooks have that you think would help get Sophie out?
I mean,
hold on.
I could either
Yeah,
use
Rebecca's useless as usual.
always prepared and grab for and like have like a rope. Or I could use sacrifice play to drag bodily, throw myself in and drag her back. But I feel like, does Kai have that move?
I don't think I took that move. Ironically.
Yeah, 'cause that's a murder
It
playbook move.
is a martyr playbook, but no, he didn't take that one. He took Owl's Eyes because
That's a good one.
it
That's a
is
good one
really
though.
good. It's very helpful.
I got nothing, gang.
I mean, Ivy has its heroic ideal. If you want to choose to fight in fight and flight, take an automatic 10. However, activating the moves means you cannot choose flight. Could you argue she's fighting against the fucking dreamscape Thurston created to try to drag Sophie's ass out of it too?
I think what I will say in that case, if the two of you are agreeable, the way I would see those moves working together. Well, actually, I'm going to ask you, Della. We have a choice. We're either going with the parent or the martyr. Who's going to make that call?
Oh, the martyr. Absolutely. The martyr makes so much more sense here.
What does it look like then when Siobhan goes in. Grab Sophie.
There's no more dead girls. And literally just flings herself bodily into the crack and grabs Sophie's wrists. And like might yell back, like, pull my feet, pull my feet.
Yep.
What goes through Ivy's head when she sees the body that has her husband in it make this choice?
There's a mixture of like pride, but also there's a mixture of just like, you're not the physical one. I'm not losing you again. I'm not losing you to Thurston's shit again. And she just reaches and grabs on as tightly as she can. She doesn't care if she's getting burned by the dream fire. She is pulling them the fuck out of there. Not losing anyone else in the fire.
How does Weston feel as he sees the others go in and risk themselves to save Sophie?
Couldn't be me.
I was just thinking that.
On brand.
I
On
was
brand.
literally thinking that could be.
Amazing.
If it weren't for the fact that I'm fairly certain I need more than one of them to end all of this, I'd let them all stay. But that's why when the call to pull them out happens, he does so. Because they're no use to him dead. Probably.
And so the three of you work together, putting your own selves in danger, potentially accumulating injuries. Raph, what condition is Sophie in when they get her out?
She's coughing. She's covered in burns and soot and smoke. I think as she's sitting there, she has like her eyes are completely bloodshot and she's crying. And she's just saying over and over again throughout the coughs, I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I'm so sorry. I'm sorry.
Rachel is just kind of, I mean, there's so many names. Ivy. Ivy just has Sophie's hand and is just kind of like holding it, and it's just like, okay, no, that's good. That's a good step. You're not him.
We need to get her to a hospital. We need to get her. We need
Yep.
to get her out of here.
Yep.
Where the fuck is Marcus?
Yeah, was he not behind us? Was he in front of us? Wait.
He was in front of us.
Fuck him. I'm calling for medevac. And she's going to pull out her phone and dial 911. Does it work? Or does she need to use the other phone?
It does not work, and while I don't think this will change your course of actions, you know that Sophie's not gonna make it.
She holds on to you, Ivy. And I think her I'm sorry's slowly turn into my head hurts. My head hurts so bad.
Okay. Just kind of just hugs her and like puts her head on her chest. Just like, okay, just it was a lot to go through. Just breathe.
Head.
You were you did a lot of it's very hard to do something different. It is very hard to try to be brave, and you did really, really good there. You made it out. Okay? You're not him. You are Sophie, and you did good there. Okay? Are we near the ladder? Can we get her out of the tunnel into the fresh air?
Yeah, we can. Here. Rachel's going to I I don't I have it I have morphine back in my room. I don't have any much here, but here, take this. She's gonna basically just give you some like it's like Tylenol 3, some like of like the good fucking Tylenols, with the codeine in them. Um,
Shit.
and give you some of those and some water. And say, all right, I don't wanna move her up that ladder. She's burnt pretty bad. I can't get a hold of 911. I can't. I'm gonna Do I think in this moment that she will survive at all if I make the call?
I think when you turn, she's like gripping onto Ivy. And I think when you turn her around to hand her the pill, I think you notice her neck and shoulders are stained, and there is dried blood coming from her forehead. But there are no wounds.
I think at this point, she just sort of kneels down next to Ivy and I think all she can do is sort of sit there and I think she starts sort of um, just holding Sophie's hand and um, I think just trying to give what comfort she can. I think she starts at some point softly humming like a lullaby, like the kind of thing you sing to a little kid. And that's all she's got.
What is Weston doing as this scene unfolds, as Rachel and Ivy offer Sophie comfort?
He's waiting for the moment to pass. Uh, he is the writing's on the wall, pretty much. He did feel it might be in poor taste to offer to just have that moment happen sooner rather than later. But as he's standing there, like leaning up against one of the walls that's not hot like coals, um, there's just a stream of tears. His face is like he would rather be anywhere else in the world. He is actively crying. And at one point, when he starts to feel it, he sort of touches his eye, looks at it, and sort of goes inward. And there's a small child looking out, seeing something that's probably not unfamiliar. Um, and so he is heartbroken, sort of curled up in the mind palace. Yeah, he just sort of goes, "Wow, I really am a monster."
And I think it stands out to you, Weston, in that moment that not all of you is a monster.
Hmm. Weston will stand slightly closer to the group.
What are the final words exchanged between everyone?
I think Ivy's kind of picked up from Rachel's mannerisms and what she's doing that even just begging James to come out is not going to help, and she doesn't want to panic or upset Sophie. So she is just kind of gently rubbing the back of her head while she's just kind of hugging her to her and just trying to be as comforting as she can and just swallow back that familiar sense of failure.
Sophie, I wish we'd met sooner. You'd made a fucking great spy.
I don't know if she responds to that. I think she just kind of coughs a little bit. And I think she kind of closes her eyes and she smiles a little. Um, and says, I thought you all said I talked too much. Would make a good spy.
Hey, wish us luck. I don't want us to have to do this again, yeah?
Hmm. I hope you all figure this out. I didn't come here. I didn't come here end up like this.
I know.
When we get cell service again, I think she kind of like just pulls out her phone and just kind of lays it on the side on the floor and just says, the recordings and stuff are there. And my parents, they don't know. Please don't tell them.
Okay.
No worries.
You want your thesis to go to someone?
You can burn that too.
Clean slate protocol. Got it.
I don't want to be remembered the way he was. So I just want to be the annoying red yarn naive kid. That's all.
Make sure of that.
You want to join the Ash Wednesday killer lore?
Actually, that would be kind of cool.
I mean,
I
you
don't
do
know how
fit the
you would
type.
do that. I don't. I'm blonde. Doesn't work.
Oh, no, yeah, I guess. I wasn't really paying attention, I'll be honest.
I
I'm
think
tired.
you've earned your rest. Sleep.
Mm, sleep.
And I think with that, Sophie, your eyes close. And what's strange is That voice should have been the worst possible thing for you to hear in this moment. And yet it wasn't, because that voice felt so familiar, and it feels so strange because your positions were reversed. You had been the one taking care of them, as burns not dissimilar from the ones on your body overtook them to the point where they could no longer survive, in a process that was so much more painful than what had been expected. But you were there. You were taking care of them. And you made the choice to be the fall person for this. To make sure that all of the slander, all of the ways people framed what happened with the cult, didn't fall on them because you believed in them. And just as you're processing that, you find yourself in what looks like a morgue, because it is one. And what's jarring is you see your own body on the table. In the few seconds before the door opens, what goes through Sophie's head?
I think when she first has that realization of who she was to this voice, there is an absolute overwhelming wash of relief. Thank God this time it's right. Me, not them. And now, as she's looking down on her own body, I think she thinks about Eric's words. And I think she just quietly says, I hope that's enough.
And I think that's the moment that the door opens and a figure in a lab coat walks in, glancing down at a folder in his hands, and then glancing up at you, and he doesn't seem surprised to see you there. He looks surprisingly cheerful to be walking into a mortuary, but then again, this is his job. And he walks over, glances down at your body on the table, glances over at you, sighs and shakes his head and says, "This could have gone so many different ways." I hate how he's always the one that manages to get into the driving seat first. Hi, I'm Lucas. Uh, we've met. It's been a while. I'm really sorry that this happened to you.
Yeah, no, I remember you. It's, I guess it's okay. I hope it didn't cause any problems for you.
You're the one on the table, kid. Not me, but no, I don't think it did. I hope you're gonna forgive me for saying this. I think it actually might be a good thing because I don't think he's around anymore. And if he's not around, I think you have a chance to be a very different person.
Well, then it was a good thing. So what now?
Well, now I really didn't want to see another dead girl on my table, but here we are. Doubly so did not want it to be you, but now we wait for things to reset.
Does it take a long time?
Sometimes, especially for those who it happens earlier to.
Okay.
But you're not going to be alone, Sophie.
What do you mean?
I mean, we're here, and you never remember this when it starts up again. But you're not alone. It's not just an endless void during this time. And I've seen this happen more than once, and I've seen you go down some pretty dark paths. But I don't think you're a bad kid. And I think you could have been an incredible person who helped people the way you wanted to help them, just like I tried to do. I think I think maybe we could have gotten it right, but we didn't have the time. And that wasn't your fault.
Well, I guess there's time to work on it. Getting better. Maybe next time it won't be so dark, I guess. Maybe next time I'll be a spy.
And he looks at you and offers a bit of a smile and says, I think Rachel was right. I think you could have been a great spy. Maybe next time.
Next time for sure.
And he puts a hand on your shoulder and says, this is always one of the hardest parts. Just, adjusting to the whole being dead thing.
Right.
But we're going to get through it. I promise.
Okay. I can work with that.
We can't see everything here. I mean, if we could, we would be able to make a whole lot of difference a whole lot faster, but I need you to know, Sophie, he forgives you. It takes him a long time and a lot of therapy, but Eric forgives you.
It's more than I deserve. But I'm glad. Hopefully that will help him find some peace.
Maybe it'll help you find some peace.
So I'm going to forget all this when I wake up, whenever that is.
Yeah, unfortunately.
Mm. Am I going to haunt someone?
Eventually, yeah. I would have haunted you,
Okay.
I just didn't get the chance.
Well, sorry about that.
Hey, maybe next time.
Next time for sure. We'll prioritize you.
I would be a much better choice than Andrew ever was.
That's fair. He did not pass the vibe check at all.
No, he I don't know what those words mean, but no, he did not.
We have a long time. You're going to learn so much.
And we pan away from Sophie and Dr. Lucas Reeves having a conversation, perhaps even a slight smile crossing Sophie's face as the two of them talk. And we see the three of you standing around Sophie's body, determining what to do next after this one day of things happening.
Still not even at 24 hours. We're still
We
not
gotta go to
even
bed.
at 24 hours.
So much
I'm tired.
trauma has happened.
So much trauma. Just 24 countdown. Just a doot, doot, doot. We
We
just need that in the background.
slept.
Yep.
We
We
Yeah,
did
did.
it's
sleep.
it. Okay, yes, we did sleep. It
We-
still has not been a full 24 hours.
We've gotten to like 8 or 9 o'clock at night.
Yeah.
The sun, I don't
Mhm.
think, is set yet. And now we got to explain where this girl got burned because there's no signs of a fire anywhere.
Okay. Also, we're just gonna explain you dyed your hair blonde. It's fine.
I've always been blind.
Look,
Dye her hair dark.
It's fine.
yeah. I don't know. We gotta. Where's that?
Where's the hermit? Why
No,
the
I'm not. Where's the fucking mayor? I
Oh.
don't. I
Probably with his hermit boyfriend.
What is his name? Marcus?
Yes, that's the mayor. Okay. Look,
we. I'm getting out of this fucking tunnel. And Rachel's gonna go up. Gets halfway up, climbs back down to Ivy. You've got to go first. He's throwing a hissy fit.
Oh, right. Of course he is. Thank you.
okay. Wait. Hold on.
No,
I'm Ivy. We briefly met. I don't think
Yeah.
I would be helpful right now. Unless
So
you
we're
think you
gonna
would be.
go. So we're gonna go back up, then come back down.
No,
we're gonna.
James just wants me to leave first because he doesn't want anything else to happen.
No, I got that part. I'm talking to Rachel and crew. Sorry, no
Yes,
offense.
I'm taken.
because I do not think great down here. I need to think great right now because we have a body to explain. So I'm going to go up and get some fresh air. Y'all can stay down here, except Ivy can't stay down here because I won't be able to think great because Dr. Finley will be ill up here throwing a hissy fit because he said he wouldn't take his eyes off his wife. I don't know how you manage your friends. Javon
Got
was
a
a lot easier.
junkie and a child. I'm
You-
pretty. Like honestly, a nap and fruit snacks works for them. So
God, that sounds nice, honestly.
Should I just
yeah.
bring
Just
her
go.
up with me, or I'll just bring her up with me?
No,
Just-
No.
no,
Oh.
don't move the body. Don't
Don't
move the
touch that.
body.
Yeah,
Don't touch. Don't put your fingerprints on it. Don't put nothing on it. Just
I'm already holding her, but she'll just
you know,
gently.
don't make it worse. That's all we got to do right now is we got to not make it worse. And I need some fresh air. So please, ma'am, would you kindly?
Yep. She will just scurry on up that ladder. Just, I guess, look around and see if Marcus is any fucking where.
You
course
do
not.
not see Marcus.
He better not have crisped too.
Once she's out, I think she's going to take a deep breath and I think she's going to look at that phone number that was given to her on that piece of
What a
paper.
lovely day!
Oh.
Oh,
Hi.
Hello, Raiders.
Hi.
Tragedy.
We are in the last several
What?
minutes of our season 1 finale.
What
That
a
is a
Yeah.
time to
tragedy.
raid.
One down.
What a time to raid.
But we'd love to have you.
Yeah, and she's gonna look at that number that said that it will pick up, and she is going to call that number.
Rachel, the phone rings once, twice, and it's answered. What name would they refer to you by to confirm your identity?
I think they would still just call her Rachel. I think there's a series of call signs, countersigns. This is the number. This is the number that I was, the piece of paper I was given with the little bear drawn on it. Yeah.
That back and forth begins. It is initiated. While some of you stand in the cool evening air, breathing in deeply, feeling that brush of relief against what you're realizing for some of you are parched and scorched lungs. And below is Sophie on the floor of the tunnel. You're not quite sure how, but arms crossed over her chest. And a smudge of ash on her forehead, where the bullet went in. And that is where we are going to end season 1 of Redacted.
Incredible.
And that was a lot.
How dare!
Incredible.
That was a lot.
How dare!
Beautiful. Flawless.
Oh, buddy.
Incredible
man.
work,
Ooh,
everyone.
buddy.
Thank you, Raph, for being awake until ungodly hours of the morning, and thank you to everyone for being fucking incredible.
And you.
And thank
Yeah.
you
Thank
for
you.
running and developing this whole system.
Yeah.
You
Literally.
make this.
You made
You make
this, and it's
this.
awesome.
You did these.
I'm making these.
You can play so many fucked up little guys.
Mm-hmm.
So
It's
that was Lucas from the Ash Wednesday Killer timeline. Oh, the normal one we never got to meet.
Really,
Darn.
truly the one normal one.
Mm-hmm.
Literally, his moves are just call me doctor and bedside manner.
Wow, he would have been nice to have.
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
Shame.
Shame.
An
He'd have
ethical
really
doctor?
rounded out the medical professional crew that we had.
Yeah.
We gotta peek at my last boy. He's exciting.
Yeah,
Exciting.
I saw
Did.
that.
I'm excited.
Mhm.
Yeah.
We had some major reveals. I also know I have kept you all up later than I usually
It's fine, I
will.
don't sleep.
That is okay.
Mhm.
We're going to talk about that, just not now. We're going to get you to sleep.
Yes. Very fair. Very fair.
But with that, I'm going to let
What?
each of you do some outros.
Why do you need to talk about going to sleep? You go to sleep a normal amount, right, Steph?
Yeah. I can sleep in a little in the morning, so it's a normal amount. I don't have to wake up early like JD does. A normal amount. 7 to 8
Uh-huh.
hours.
Yeah. Throwing me under the bus there. Throw me under the bus. It's
I
fine.
say I can sleep in a little bit. I don't have an early bird job except on Saturdays, so it's fine. Unless my cat wakes me up because he's a round boy who needs his breakfast at 8 a.m.
Fight.
He
Fighting.
yodels so sadly for food.
And so, Steph, remind us who you are, why you are awesome, where people can find you.
I'm Steph. I have been mainly Ivy tonight, the hero playbook. Maybe one day she'll save someone who will live. We'll see. Also, Kai, Martyr playbook. Rebecca, villain playbook.
Wet rat.
Wet rat. Yeah, maybe we'll see that wet rat next time. You can find me every other Thursday here. You can also find me this Saturday with our finale of Horizons and Halcyon's Ward H. It's gonna be a time. That mission's going well, and then you can maybe see me in an upcoming game in the future somewhere. Stay tuned; it'll be fun to hear about.
Hello. I'm
Just throwing you
Q.
up there without preamble. Sorry, Q.
No, it's totally fine. I knew it was coming. I was prepared. Did you see the hand? It was already ready. Locked and loaded. Hi, I'm Q. I played Weston. Raven's still in there, I promise. And Russell. Um, you can find me on the internets at Midnight Inc. That's Midnight underscore INQ. Q is my name. I'm sure you get it. I've got things happening. The only thing that I'm really gonna like say and promote is Body and Soul, which is happening. It's gonna we have dates. So yeah. February 10th. It's gonna be 12 p.m. to 4 p.m. on Chaotic Wholesome. So yeah, start February 10th, and then we're gonna be bleeding in to March. So March 2nd, because we should have a full month. Anyway, not the point. Hi. That's it for me. I got other stuff, but that's not important right now.
That is fair. All right, Della. There we go.
Hi, I'm Della. I have been variably this session. I have been the Dragon Playbook, Dr. Finley. I have been the Martyr Playbook, Siobhan Orion. And I have been the Parent Playbook, Rachel Blauhair, and very briefly, the Bearer of the Sacred Flame, who is the Villain Playbook. You can find me back here also every Thursday, where I'm either in this game or I am playing Kima Boumbler in a totally normal gnomish wizard in Never Ember's Enigma, which is a really hard name to say. I wish we had that's a tough one, but it's a very fun game. You can find me there. You can also find me again this Saturday, where I will be being a fish lady in Horizons and Halcyons. You can then find me back again this next Sunday, not this coming Sunday, but Sunday after that, where I will be continuing to be a bug person in Academy H.
We love all of those things. And I don't want to do it because, last but not least, this hurts me. Raph, for the last time in Redacted, do your
For the
outro.
last time.
Not for the
Hello.
last time. Not for the fucking
For the
last
last time ever. This is it.
Hey, you take that back.
Yeah, absolutely.
No, just kidding. Hello, I've been Raph, and I was Sophie Ann McAllister, aka the Child Playbook, aka the mom of the group. I was also Dr. Andrew Thurston, now deceased. Well, I should say Sophie, also now deceased, aka the Villain Playbook, aka the dad of the group.
No.
We had a
Absolutely not.
lot of fun today. A lot of fun. What else? Oh, I will be here this Saturday as well for the finale of Word H. I will be playing Nora Eaton, one of the what did we call ourselves? The four punks and the fish goddess. So I will be playing one of those four punks. And yeah, we'll see what happens. And then we're not doing class reunion for a little bit, but we're not doing OG class reunion. Or we are. I'm not. I'm confused.
Yep.
I don't know.
We've
Something
abandoned you for I've abandoned you for the moment because I'm a terrible
Hunter
person.
has forsaken me.
Yep. And I feel really shitty about it.
And
Save him!
honestly, will it last? Who knows? Just but I am trapped in my own mind hell in class reunion. Confirmed potentially some things are in the works for that. So maybe you'll get to see what's going on in my head, which is never good. So I think that's it. I don't know anymore.
That's fair. I know you're also like, what is it, fucking 5 a.m. there?
It's 4:45, yeah.
Yeah. We're gonna let you go to bed. So yes, I'm not going to go into all of the things I'm doing. You can find them on my socials at JD not Jason Dean if you want
How
to know where I'll be at.
convenient.
You know what?
How convenient.
I Actually, it's ironic. This month is
Sneaky.
really fucking light. This is the
Amazing.
first game I've had in a solid week, and I won't have anything
Wow.
until Saturday with Sister Cities, and then I'm going to be over with Sword and Key for Deathmatch Island, where I'm playing an amnesiac professional wrestler named Bonesaw. It's going to be a good time. We'll see if I die. I have 3 backup characters because I might fall into a volcano. And then I won't be back until class reunion. So, like, yeah, it's a chill time. I'm not doing all of the things. Don't look at my calendar for March because it gets really scary. It's fine. But with that, it is late. I have kept Raph up until all hours of the morning because they were so
It's
gracious
fine.
to join us for one final episode so we could say goodbye to Sophie
just
and
sleep.
Dr.
Bye.
Thurston.
Goodbye.
That's what I'm
And
gonna miss more.
Oh,
don't you
Of
dare. And
course it
with that,
is.
we are going to
Chris, the
say goodnight.
unhinged
Fucking
freak with the
monster.
white tie and the white suit. Yep.
We're gonna pretend none of that is happening. No mother, no father.
Orphans.
Absolutely exhibiting fatherless behavior, as Steph said earlier.
Yep.
What are you talking about? Mama and Papa of the group.
Orphans.
Now deceased.
Now deceased. But yes,
Shame.
with that, I think we are going to call it a night, everyone, because it is late, and you all were gracious enough to stay up late to finish this episode with me. I'm gonna see if there's anyone to raid. There might not be, but hang around if we're able to track that down. And otherwise, LFTA will be back on Saturday for Ward H at 3 o'clock.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
Incredible. So say goodnight to everyone, cast.
Night,
Good night,
Good night,
everyone.
everyone.